Yo, lapis lazuli, let's freaking get it. Oh, hey, bang, scary. Oh, skateboarding and grinding, having a good time. Bang, scary. Trying to confess my love to Koichi Sakurai, but I have social anxiety. Guess what? That's scary. I've got this weird problem. I like getting scared, but find horror games never actually scare me. By turning on a game specifically made to be spooky, my guard is up, and more often than not, I don't feel fear, I feel frustration. My best example is when I first played Outlast, ostensibly the first successful Slender clone, just walking around with this crappy camera in a haunted house. The issue with Outlast is there's a lack of surprise beyond the first few minutes. It's the same way horror movies always get worse when you understand the monster and what it looks like. Or to keep it video games, look at Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a bit of an anomaly in that you do know exactly what's coming. It breaks that rule, but the threat is such an unpleasant experience, you're gonna do everything in your power to avoid it. The gameplay itself is the suspense, the uncertainty. It's satisfying specifically because even though you know what's coming, you never know how or when. Now look again at Outlast. Your punishment for getting caught is the bad guy kind of looks at you and either hits you or throws you. It's made even better when you realize that every single threat is designed for you to be able to run in circles around. You don't even need to hide, and you're given way too many opportunities to get a good look at who's trying to spook you. It's frankly lame. Also, don't love the way the Outlast series usually takes the laziest route possible and says that you should be afraid of people with mental disabilities. Gee, I wonder where I've heard that one before. And this tends to be the case with a lot of horror games. Once you start throwing boxes and chairs at the amnesia monster, it's no longer scary, it's a clown. But what about those games that get your guard down? You think you know what you're in for, say a regular platformer, and ooh, it's a haunted house level? Yeah, bud, I'm sure it is. I bet it'll be the most adorable. Oh my goodness! Horror games that are not typically considered spooky, but which in my experience have proven to be much the opposite, that is to say, actually quite spoopy. Number 1, yo, being a skateboarder is so cool. I'm grinding on power lines, doing airwalks all over dumpsters. Oh, bro, what? My childhood best friend Eric was kidnapped by dealers and it's dark out and the scary music is playing. There's big, huge floating skulls and the guy whose name is at the bottom of the screen, I already forgot. Wait, kid, it's too dangerous. Mom, I need you to play this level. It's too scary. I'm finding a job, Mom.
Aw, man.
The PS2 era Tony Hawk games seemed to get more and more grotesque as the games went on, and that really started with Tony Hawk's Underground. I mean, even the intro reel of the game has this horrifying found footage play out before you even get to the mandatory skating AMV. But nobody's ever prepared for the moment your game is brought to a screeching halt just after you've completed the tutorial missions and have a grip on how the game works. Your skateboard is literally taken away from you, the sky darkens, your jams are replaced with eerie ambiance, and you're asked to put everything on the line to save your friend's life. Will you survive the night? Number 2, Minecraft is a horror game. I've been saying this, I stay saying this, and I rest in peace saying this, or not peacefully, you know what I mean? Hey man, happy Halloween. I hope you're keeping it weenie on this fine hollow. I think that's the realization everybody who's ever touched Minecraft has pretty quickly. You get all excited at this vast world in front of you, you try to brainstorm what would be the coolest spot for a base, and before you know it, the world is dark. You're hearing these creepy noises and boom, you're digging for dear life just to hide in a hole, slowly starving, waiting until those noises slowly fade away. Slender made 12-year-old me want to keep running around in the woods, but Minecraft had me utterly petrified. And don't even get me started on your first encounter with an Enderman. 3, Breaker, I'm a pilot and don't know what all these beeping noises mean, but I can tell you we're hurtling towards my IRL house at an excessive speed, and I think you're gonna need to tell my wife and kids that flying is scary when you don't know how to fly. Okay, hear me out. Microsoft Flight Sim is really cool, but it's one of the very few games that when played in VR becomes genuine horror. Suddenly, I'm the only thing keeping me in the air, and on top of that, I need glasses. You can't wear those in VR, so let me go ahead and edit this footage so you can see it from my POV. What's that? I accidentally switched autopilot off? Well, I don't know what I'm looking at, I can't read, I don't know what's happening, and oh my god, there's a black hole in Brazil. 4. Something I love about the PS2 is just the raw potential every game has to be the most off-putting piece of media you have ever seen, and it doesn't get better than early-gen licensed Nickelodeon games. The strange polygonal, partially textured characters, the repetitiously intrusive yet quiet ambiance that points to the composer was only paid to make one song to be used for 90% of the game. The liminal spaces that hint towards something you might recognize from their source material, yet on inspection often feels utterly foreign and unfamiliar. It all serves to make these games feel like a distorted dream. You're running and yet you're not moving, you're talking and nobody hears, and if you ate too close to bedtime, you might be unlucky enough to hear them. The voices.
Don't you think your little friend Gary would like to play some fetch?
The more temporally we become removed from these games, the more upsetting they become, as though the flow of time helps us better see them for the horrors they truly are. I realize this is a type of game instead of just one game, so if you want homework, I challenge you to play Nickelodeon's Rocket Power Beach Bandits for the PS2. But be warned, you cannot forget all that which you have seen. 5. Hollow Knight is one of those games that rides the line of eerie and creepy. It's a beautiful game designed around making you feel like just a little guy in a big, bloated, scary world. Most of this doesn't genuinely scare me though, it just adds to the atmosphere. It helps make the world feel so desolate and literally decaying. You understand how viscerally horrifying it is for a little beetle to wander into a spider's domain. But you always conquer these fears and foes. It never feels like something you need to flee from. Hollow Knight also balances this with plenty of reprieves, whether it be literal hot springs, occasional friendly faces, or just the satisfaction of rescuing grubs from their little jars and getting to hear them squeak with joy. But then the game does the worst thing a video game has ever done to me. It took that sense of relief, of joy, of getting to safety, and it turned it against me every time. Finding friendly faces defeated, the bench is a trap, the grubs get their own mimics who genuinely scared me so much the first time I saw one while playing at 1 a.m. I yelped, I dropped the Switch on the ground, I went to bed. Hollow Knight is terrifying. Anyways, Silksong's even more scary because it'll never exist. Number 6. Frog Detective has got witches and dark caves and ghosts, and this is too much for my little heart. This frog, he is braver than the world's bravest marine. That's how brave this dude is. I can't believe it, man. Let's hear it for the frogs. Let's freaking go, frogs. What a hero. What an absolute hero. 7. Okay, that last one was kinda silly, but there's nothing silly about Kirby 64. I think it's true that nearly every Kirby game has a mild amount of terror, but Kirby 64 deserves special recognition. As you progress through the first chapter, you actually rescue your possessed friends who've got these terrifying faces before you're able to beat the darkness out of them. Then of course there's the chapter that vaguely implies the death of the Earth, but otherwise all is fine, right? I mean, sure, the final boss is a bit creepy, this all-knowing ball of darkness, but Kirby beats them and saves the day. Wait, hold on. What was that just there during my happy ending? Okay, listen, it's a cute game, but every single step of the game involves you casually casually shrugging off the terrors. There's a reason why when people make their Kirby creepypasta videos, they almost exclusively use material from Kirby 64. And don't even get me started on the most obscenely disturbing final boss my young brain could even never actually reach because it was too hard. And you know, maybe that's why it was so hard to reach. Maybe this is how we keep children safe from the horrors. Gatekeep children, like get a child gate just 8. Do I need to talk about Pizza Tower? Is it okay? I mean, I know it's obvious. I mean, do I need to get into Pizza Tower? All right, okay. I just think it's a little disturbing Pizza Tower would have something so horrible as Oktoberfest. I mean, come on, that's just disgusting. No. Breath of the Wild is a beautiful game that's honestly pretty chill through and through. You have these lush, beautiful fields, these cute animations, entrancing sound design, and then it puts you in its place with this discordant, terrifying mechanical beasts roaming the plains, and by the end of the game, you're asked to overcome this to the point that you start feeling like a god. Yeah, you scared me 50 hours ago, but I know your tricks and I will square up. Let's go, man, let's go! So when Tears of the Kingdom came out, all we really knew is you would go into the sky, you've got these goofy new robots, the tone is so casual and chill this time around, except there's giant holes in the ground. I wonder what happens if you dive in. You don't know what I've seen. What I've witnessed. Wait, this weirdo's living down here? You know what? It's pretty chill, actually. You know what? Never mind, man. It's all good. Number 10. Yeah, I mean, Mario's kind of scary. Like, you know, he's Italian again, so... but you know what's even spookier than everything I just talked about? So frightening, so petrifying, so tinglingly cerebral cortex decaying, so lambastingly, outrageously, paranoyingly, cower-inducing scary? Not these games I talked about in this video right here. Go watch it on or after the date of October 31st. Oh, and financial security is kind of scary. You can make that worry go away by supporting me on Patreon, where you'll get original content such as pictures that I think are epic, or previews of upcoming projects, and giving input to me on what you want me to do next. And if you're still here, comment the code I love my big spooky wife, and I'll send you an early link to my next video. See ya.
It is for you to decide whether this ending is reality or simply illusion.